What is going on, y'all? Welcome to Joel Friday TV. I am Joel Friday. Welcome to the show. A few announcements before we get started. Real quick, hit that like button, smack it, lay the smack down, and like, subscribe, and share button. Tell your peoples about the show so we get the subscribers up and the message out. Do it now. Help a brother out. As you guys know, we are live Monday through Thursday at 11 a.m. Pacific time on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Punchy.tv. And at any point during the show, you can do what? You know what you can do. Call in at 888-775-3773. 888-775-3773. The number is right here. You can call in, and at any point, make sure you get in there soon so that way we can get to it. I'm only here for a little bit of time. So make sure you get in, make sure you call. If for whatever reason you can't call in, but you still have a question or comment, or you just want to support the show, you can go to buymeacoffee.com/JoelFridayTV or go directly to the YouTube live chat, hit the super chat button, send your question or comments there. I'll read them live on air. Amazing stuff. Let's get to it. Man, shout out chat. What's going on, chat? Good morning. Good morning, YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook, Punchy.tv chat. Good morning. How are you? Punchy.tv looks like it's taking a minute to kick in. I could be wrong, though. I am not 100% sure about Punchy.tv. Still not yet. Chris with a super chat straight out the gate says, "Hey, Joel." What's up, Chris? Shout out, Chris. He's a mod on the JFTV podcast. Shout out to Chris. Thank you, Chris. Appreciate the super chat. Terry Strange says, "What up, Joel?" What up, Terry? What's going on? Amazing stuff. Cool. Let's get into, man, let me tell you. I got some. Listen, I don't know where I be finding this stuff, but I got some stuff. Listen, we got another ride to go on. Listen, I didn't plan for this. I didn't plan to be like, oh, I'm gonna go do another one. No, but I got another story that's pretty interesting to me. That I want to talk about. Yesterday, if you missed it, we got into the story, the fascinating story of Hannah something. I forgot her name. Kobashi or something. And Hannah was a missing girl that went missing. And then during the search, they were the family receiving weird text messages from her, but she didn't seem like she was in a panic. And then the parents were concerned. They were looking for her. And then in the midst of this, the father committed suicide, jumped off a building. And then on top of it, after that, we find out that she walked into Mexico and she seemed unharmed. And the story is still ongoing, but it just was like, what is going on here? And the police are calling it a voluntary missing persons case. She went missing voluntarily. So that's something. We played that. That was kind of interesting. But today I got a different little story. It's not in the news, but I want to kind of get into this girl's life story here, right? And I only pick things that seem to be interesting to me, right? And what makes sense to me and what I want to explain. I don't just pick stuff and I'm like, oh, okay, let's just do this because of this and this and that reason. It has to make sense to me, and I have to know what I want to say about it, right? It has to have like a point. So I found another story. And I thought this was interesting because there's this young girl, young as the age of 23, and she's a former stripper and sex worker and she shares her story on how she broke free. Man, I thought this was very interesting. I got some clips I want to show you guys about it. So let's get into it. I don't know if you guys ever heard of the channel Soft White Underbelly. I think I've played some stuff from them before with you guys. I've shared some videos from this YouTube channel, Soft White Underbelly. And yeah, on this podcast, this guy brings on these people who've been through some stuff, right? And they kind of just share what they've been through and how they've, learned, or even some still involved in these things. And it just kind of gives you a glimpse into their lifestyle, because from the outside looking in, all of us, every single person for the most part, until they recognize and overcome, is we judge. We judge a book by the cover. Oh, she's a stripper, she a slut. Oh, she's a sex worker, stay away from her. Right? We judge. When in reality, what did Jesus tell the prostitute in the sand? Remember when he got down on the knee and he drew in the sand? The men were the men back in the day were trying to stone this prostitute, right? Because she was a prostitute. That's so bad. She was a prostitute, and they were about to stone her. And she fell at Jesus' feet. And Jesus said, let him who without sin cast the first stone. Let him without sin cast the first stone. And all the men who, according to the scripture, right, all the men who were about to throw that stone, which is the arrows of judgment in today's time, right? Judgment. All the men that were about to throw that stone, they dropped it because they're like, wait, I have sin. And I'm no right. I don't know if they realized in that moment that they were wrong, right? But they dropped the rock, because Jesus was like, let him without no sin cast the first stone, and none of them can cast it because they all had sin. And Jesus told the prostitute, get up and sin no more, something like that, right? Get up and sin no more, and she felt free, right? He didn't judge her. He understood. He knew, because he was Jesus. So we all judge. Maybe not all, but most of us. Not realizing there's something to be understood. So we're going to get into this. Ooh. Let's get into it. We have to go on another ride. So this from Soft White Underbelly. Here's where Bree shares what it's like to live the life of a sex worker. Lord. Here we go. It's pretty clean, so it's okay for the kids. There's not cussing or anything like that. All right. Here we go.
So I was going from just sitting at home taking pictures for OnlyFans to now I'm physically there with other people. And the lifestyle, especially at clubs, is really dark. Everybody is doing drugs. Everybody is really drunk. And to kind of survive in that world, you have to kind of do the same, because it kind of tears at your soul little by little. And to be able to like keep going, to numb yourself, I had to get drunk, really drunk, to the point where you don't remember much. I had to do other things, and I'm not happy at all. And I knew what I was doing was wrong. But it was kind of like, I need to do this because I need to pay for this, I need to pay for that, I need to take care of my family. Like, everybody's relying on me, and this is the only thing I know what to do.
Okay. So the first thing there, she explains that she's the stripper, right? I kind of want to break it down, right? And then we'll work our way into the steak and potatoes of the whole story, right? Because it gets into some stuff. So she is involved in stripping, the sex work, and she knows it's wrong, right? She knows it's wrong, and she knows that that something's not right here. It's off. So, but in her mind, what does she have? What does she have in her mind? In her mind, she's telling herself, or the enemy's telling her that you don't have money, you gotta make more money. That no one else is gonna hire you because you have no other skills other than this. Oh, and here's the big one. Here's the big one. The enemy says, well, you have to take care of your family, and everybody's counting on you. Everybody's relying on you. That's a huge one, right? My heart goes out to the young people, young teens and mainly young girls too, but young guys have to do this too. But young girls, my heart goes out to them who have been told in their adolescence that they have to take care of their family, right? To where their childhood is taken away because they now have to step up and do something that's not their responsibility. Because what that does is that changes a young child's mind, right? Right? It changes their mind from being free and trusting life and growing and learning into this lifestyle of stress and pressure and all these things, right? And now you feel this responsibility to take care of kids that you didn't have, a family that you didn't ask for, right? Because the parents missed the mark. So my heart really goes out for those type of people because they're really being set up. Now, God can work all things out for the good, because I know people who that has in some ways kind of helped them be more mature for their age, but it also helped them to be too independent. You know what I mean? So, but anyway, nonetheless, it's just a setup. So when you have that in your mind, then it's a lot harder to break away from a lot of these things, like this young girl, because she has these false ideas in her mind. So she's stuck with stripping, and she goes back to stripping, and it's fast money, easy money, quick money. So she's just doing what she believes she has to do. She's just doing what she believes she has to do. So I want to say that first so we can get some context of why this lady, her name is Bree. They don't put her last name, so good for her because she don't need to be doxxed. But her name is Bree, but this is a little bit of why Bree got involved into this stuff. There's obviously more stuff. You can watch the full testimony and you'll see exactly the details of where it all started and blah, blah, blah. But I'm just trying to break down the story a little bit here, okay? So she goes into that. And here's the next clip where Bree explains how she met some random guy out in the city. She was doing a lot of this work. So she goes to this, she's getting involved in the sex work. She's a stripper. And she goes out to a specific city. And in this city, she gets involved. And she talks about this guy that she met in the midst of it. Here we go.
I was taking trips. And I was getting even deeper into the lifestyle. I was like, oh, I'm never stopping.
Where were you going? What kind of places?
Vegas, but it's also Sin City. So it's called that for a reason. One day, I met this guy there. And he was just like, I just want to talk to you. So we sat there and we talked. That was it. We just had a conversation. And after that, he texted me. He was very adamant about him coming down to LA to come see me. And then he came down and we were sitting there and he just started kind of planting seeds. He was like, are you happy with what you're doing? And I was like, yeah, I'm fine. Like, everything's fine. And then he just kept asking me and kept pushing a little bit, but not too much, to the point where I was like, okay, go away. Like, he was just like saying little things. And I was like, this guy's crazy. Like, I'm fine. So he says, we should go to your house and I want to take a nap. And I was like, okay.
He wants to take a nap
he said he wanted to take a nap.
at your place.
At my house.
Okay.
So I was like, okay. But and this day, I hadn't done anything. I hadn't drank anything. I was completely sober. I hadn't done anything in like a day. So no drinking, no nothing. So we go to my house and I lay in my bed and he...
Oh, what did he do? Wait. What did he do? She meets this guy in Vegas and she's involved in, I'm gonna give you guys a little more context because there's a whole video, but the video's long, so I couldn't just play the whole thing. But she's a sex worker. She's a stripper, but she gets deeper into it and she becomes a sex worker, right? We know what that means. And she goes out to Vegas and she's doing her thing in Vegas and she's meeting people and all that stuff. And then out of nowhere, she meets this guy and the guy says he wants to take a nap at her place, at her house. What the? Who is this man? This random guy just wants to take a nap with her at her house, right? Like, suspicious, right? The first thought is like, this is suspicious. Who is this guy? You don't know nothing about him. And he asks to go to your house to take a nap. And then she says yes. And the first thought is like, this is so crazy. What's wrong? See, these type of people are always in these situations, right? The mind starts going crazy, right? And you start to judge. Tar Baby Yoda says, that man is you, Joel. But you're like, wait, hold on. He just wants to take a nap and then you let him come to the house? And she says, yeah. She lets him come to the house. And then they go to the house, right? When I got to that part, my mind was blown. I was like, what the? But here, we're going to figure out what happens. What happened at the house, right? She got this random guy that she brings to the house in Vegas. Mind you, she's explaining in other parts of the story where she went through some crazy stuff in Vegas. Pimps were chasing her. She was being chased by pimps. They were trying to kidnap her. They were trying to do all kinds of stuff. There was men that said they were going to kill her. All kinds of crazy stuff. And she's dealing with all this, and yet a guy comes up to her and says, hey, I want to talk, but I want to take a nap at your house. And she says, okay. Well, here's where Bree explains the mind-blowing experience she had that changed her life. Here we go.
We go to my house and I lay in my bed and he was asleep, but I don't think he was really asleep. And this is why everything, because people are like, how did this change happen so crazy? Because...
Mind you guys, really quick, this clip really quick is about 5 minutes long. I forgot to mention. So we're going to do a little pause and play. I think we're just going to get through it. So this is where she kind of explains what happens next. But it is about 5 minutes long, just a heads up. So we'll get through it, though. Here we go.
On my Instagram now, I've been posting about it, and they're like, how did this happen? And this is what happened. I was laying there, and I'm scrolling on YouTube, and I never scroll on YouTube, and the Wi-Fi never works in my house, in my room. Like, in my room, I can't watch TikTok, I can't go on YouTube because it never works. But for some reason, this day, the Wi-Fi was working in my room.
Shout out Wi-Fi.
Like, I had full bars. So I'm scrolling on YouTube, and I click on this video that came up. And at this point, I didn't really watch YouTube. I don't know what I was doing on YouTube, but I just was. So I click on this video, and it's about this girl. And she's just talking about everything that she's been through. And it's the exact same story as mine. She talks about how she moved to LA, how she got into the deep, like, dark sex work lifestyle and got addicted to a lot of things. And then she talked when she was talking, just the way she was saying it, I was so like, sounds exactly like me. And then she talked about how she got saved because God saved her out of this. So I'm halfway through the video and I paused it and I just put the phone down and I lay there, I said, and the guy was still sleeping. And I was just there like, wow. And then I was like, I just kept saying, wow. And
Really quick, my first thought is like, how is she so calm about this guy sleeping next to her when she's watching this video? But anyway, let's keep going.
started crying. And I was like, I shouldn't have watched that video. I know that video saved my life. But I was crying and I cried for about an hour. And the guy who wasn't asleep the whole time, he was just there. He started hugging me and he was like, it's okay. It's over now. It's okay. And I just was crying and crying. And I was like, I can't believe, like everything I was doing, I thought it was fine. I thought it was okay. But in that moment when I watched that and I heard it is possible to get out of this, I was like, there's no way. So it hit me really hard. And I was just crying. And he was just hugging me. And I was like, what the fuck? I was just saying that over and over. I was just saying that.
She didn't say the real word, kids. She just said, she was about to say it, but then she was trying to be clean. So she didn't say the full word. She didn't say nothing.
And I was like, what is going on? So then I stopped crying and the room just felt very light, like very, very light, like very like, there's no heavy energy. There's no like, it just felt very light. And I felt very like, I don't know how to even explain it.
It's amazing what Wi-Fi can do.
Yeah, exactly. Now that I've been reading, they say that's the Holy Spirit coming to you, that feeling.
That's just really good Wi-Fi.
Just really good Wi-Fi. But they say it's the Holy Spirit, that's the feeling. But you could tell when you get that feeling. It's just like, I'm okay kind of feeling. Like, I'm done. Like, it's done. So,
You kicked the white knight out?
No, he was still there. He was just hugging me. He had no intentions of doing anything with me, I think. Like, he just wanted, I say he was an angel sent by God to save me in my darkest moment because I had hit rock bottom and I was not aware, but I had definitely hit rock bottom.
That's great. And
I think it was somebody to come pull me out of rock bottom because obviously I wasn't learning on my own. I just kept going. And without him, without all that happening, without that video, I probably would have been dead or in jail. So that saved me. So he was just hugging me. And I was like, what am I going to do now? Like, I have this apartment, I have this car. I told him, I was like, I can't keep doing this. Like, this is done. Like, I'm done. Like, I cannot do this anymore. I don't care about anything. I just know I can't do this anymore. And then he was like, you have family here. This guy knew nothing about me. I had been so standoffish. I haven't told him anything about me. And he was like, you have family here. And I was like, okay, my stepfamily, if you guys are confused because I'm from Panama, but my stepfamily is in Georgia. So I was like, how do you know I have family here? But then I was like, okay, yeah, he's right. He knew I was from Panama. So I was like, I do have family here. He was like, here's what you're going to do. You're going to get in your car and you're going to drive to Georgia and I'm going to help you with the hotel money and the gas money. And you're just going to drive tomorrow. Like, you're just going to start driving.
That's very nice of him.
Very nice. I'm telling you, he was an angel sent by God. Like, he told me this after. He was like, I saw a light in you when you would let your guard down, and I knew there was more than just what you were doing. It was just nice because I had such a messed up view of guys, and I always said, I don't want to get married. I don't want to have kids. I don't ever want to have any of that, a family or any of that. And now I'm like, I want to get married. I want to have kids. I want to have a family. Right. And I hope anyone watching this, if you're going through it, there's always more. So just remember, and that's it.
All right. Thank you.
Incredible. Incredible. My first thought was like, who is this man? Who is this alpha male that came in here talking about I just need a nap. And yeah, he had this big old plan. You know, they say, I don't know who says, I don't even know who's they, right? But they say that that there's like guardian angels that kind of roam the earth that are actually from heaven, and they just do come down here and do a couple good deeds and go back up to heaven. I think that, you know, that's a possibility. Because some things be so kind of crazy that you're kind of like, wait, right? But yet she said that she still talks to this guy, right? But I don't think that this guy necessarily is a guardian angel. I was just making a point there about that. But I think that the point I want to make about that is that two things. The first thing is that imagine she didn't trust this situation. Imagine she's this person who in her mind, she's saying that, no, this is a random man. Who is this man? You're not coming to my house. What the? Right? Imagine she's saying that. And I'm not saying now just be open to anything. I'm saying be in the moment and you'll see what's the right thing to do or not. But imagine if she just denied this man and that didn't happen, right? Because she was skeptical or whatever the case is. Then this thing doesn't happen in this way, right? So that's the first thing, is that you can't be quick to judge every situation. But the second thing is that, like, shout out to this alpha man who was just trying to do the right thing by this woman, right? Didn't know nothing about her, didn't even have to waste his time. You know what I mean? Didn't even have to go out his way to waste his time. But something in him saw something in her, and he went out his way to be of service to that. And he showed her love, and he got her out of that situation. Decent men still exist. They out and about, and they scattered amongst the world because they have a duty. They have a duty to just be the light, right? And it's not to say this man is walking on water, he's perfect, but whatever reason, God used this man to save this girl, and this man literally took her out of her situation, almost kidnapped her in his own way, right? But not against her will, right? And talking about some nap, I want to take a nap. But meanwhile, it seems like this was all kind of orchestrated. And I'm not saying it was his plan to do that. Let me get her to take a nap. You guys get the point I'm saying. But the point is that this was all working out for her benefit. And he almost had to completely take her out of this situation and send her off somewhere. This random woman, he's like, hey, look, I see the light in you, and you don't have to do this lifestyle. And I'm gonna give you some money, and you're gonna just go. You're just gonna go. And you're going to get away from here, or you're going to start your new life. That's incredible. Decent men still exist. And you know what that means? That means decent women exist as well. That there's some Marys walking around the earth. Mary, Jesus' mama, right? That means there's some Marys walking around the earth as well. And that's just a nice story, right? It's just an interesting story. And what I realized too, and I'm going to get to some calls. We got some calls online. You can call in 888-775-3773. 888-775-3773. What was your guys' first thought? Because I was thinking like, Lord have mercy. Who's this man? Right? And guess what? This man came in there and saved the day. But listen, it doesn't mean just trust all people, because look at the Hannah. Hannah went to L.A. and then I guess what she was following, I don't know what she was doing with some man. And you never know where that led, right? So it's not to say just trust anybody, right? But it's also to say that the moment. Lord have mercy. No preconceived ideas, no preconceived plans on what you're going to do, what you're going to say, how you're going to say it. Don't live by no rules. Don't live by nothing in the mind. Just be led by the moment. And the moment tell you what to do, right? Because for whatever reason, Bree just decided to trust this random man on the street to let him take a nap because maybe she felt that he had a good vibe. Maybe she just kind of knew that he just meant well and he didn't want nothing from her like these other guys do. You can pick up on those things, especially women. Women know when guys want something from them or when they're just trying to be genuine. Oh, they know. Oh, they know. So maybe she got a vibe that she could trust him enough to take a nap with him. And he just changed her life. So shout out to the guy. Right? She's 23. She started doing this stuff at 18. It's crazy stuff. And parents, stop making your kids grow up too soon to help out or something. What the? That's so crazy. They tell the sons, you got to be a man of the house. Help me raise your siblings. What kind of setup? So if you guys want to watch the full interview, which she gets into all the details and stuff of what happened and what she's been through and all that stuff, you can go to White Underbelly. As a matter of fact, I'll post the link in the YouTube description. And shout out to them for not copywriting me because I didn't know what was going to happen because I played so many clips. But I'll put the link in the description after the show. All right. Did you guys like that? Press 1 if you guys like that story. Press 2 if you thought it was all right. Press 3 if you just here for the chat. Let me get to some calls. JoJo said, no thanks, Joel. You don't have to watch it, JoJo. Let me go to Jamie out of California. Jamie, welcome to the show. You're on the air. Jamie. Okay. Derek's going to check on Jamie, see what's going on with Jamie. Nice. I'm getting a lot of ones. That's cool. You guys thought it was cool. Right on. Let me check the super chats here. Hold up. While we're waiting for, Jaden. That's why he's not answering. He's like, who the heck is Jamie? It's Jaden. Oh, okay. Let's go to Jaden out of California. Jaden, could you hear me?
Yes. What's up, Joel?
How's it going? I was calling you, but I was calling you by the wrong name.
Amazing.
I
just got like you just said a few seconds ago, like, whatever in the moment, you're called to do.
Yeah.
And how do you differentiate that from just your feelings? Because I hear a lot of Christians say, even on Jesse's Fallen State a few weeks ago, what the Spirit tells me to do, right?
Yeah.
And they're kind of using that as like an excuse for like whatever my emotions tell me to do in the moment, right? So how do you tell the difference between that?
That's a great question, man. God brings clarity and Satan brings confusion, right? So if in the moment you're having fear about something, and it's wrapped in fear or you're doubting or that's Satan, right? That's Satan trying to get you to overreact. That's Satan trying to. So that's how you know it's Satan. If it's God, it's just clear and you just see to do it and it makes sense and then you do it. Say if you're still unsure, you make it as you do it anyway, whatever it is, right? Let's just say you have to make some type of decision in the moment. If you end up doing it, you just watch and see and learn from it that way.
Does it need to be fear, or can it be any emotion if you're feeling it from Satan in that moment that's causing you just?
Yes, any emotion. So if you're like excited, or if it's giving you, like you can, if you're questioning, If you're questioning it, then don't do it, right? Because God will make it clear. He don't make it so you understand what the next step is to do, and you'll just see to do it, and it only will make sense for you to do it, right? So if you have to question it, go ahead.
That excited thing, like, it's very interesting because, I've been a Christian for like 2 years, and I've been very excited when God, quote unquote, called me to preach, right? But I mean, like, I had so much fear going into it when I was preaching, like it was from the devil fully, but I was excited to do it. But it's just like, excitement feels like a good thing in the moment, you know what I mean? Like, it feels natural.
Say that last part again.
Excitement feels right in the moment.
Right.
It's not like anger where it's wrong. Excitement's like, oh, I'm excited to do this right now. Like, God's making me do this.
Can you give me an example of what you mean, though?
Yeah, when I was, for the example, I did door-to-door sales. But before I went, I was so excited. I'm going to make so much money. I'm going to become a boss and become all these things, right?
Yeah.
But when I went out there, it was a miserable experience. But I'm glad I went out there because I learned a lot of lessons. But it was just terrible. I had so much fear and anger, and it was crazy.
No.
Yeah.
No, that's a perfect.
But I was excited.
That's a perfect example because it'll start making you think about the future as well. It'll start making you think about what can happen, what is going to happen. It's making you look outward instead of just being still and do what's in front of you to do. And God doesn't operate that way. But most of the time, well, I guess it depends on, Satan has to know what emotion triggers you. But I notice what he tries to use is oftentimes is fear, right? Because it'll make you want to be afraid of something, and that fear will seduce you into a decision. But that's not from God. God doesn't operate that way.
Yo, one thing I just realized right now is that every decision I've ever made is in fear. Like, I have not, for the past, 5 years, it's all been fear. Even going down the street to get a soda, it's all fear. I've literally been listening to the devil for 5 years.
Can you give, besides going down the street to get a soda, could you give an example that fear drove you to do something?
Yeah, I used to preach the gospel at my school, and I used to have my big Bible in PE and go up to people and be like, hey, you want to read a Bible verse? And I went up to this one chick who was on her phone, and I said, I want to read a Bible verse, and she said, ew. And then she ran to the other side of the gym, and I had her in history class. And I decided, we were assigned seats, but you could move if you wanted. Yeah. And I decided as a Christian that I'm so scared of this woman because she told me, ew, that I'm going to sit on the other side of the classroom with none of my friends because all my friends were in her group. Yeah. I decided I'm going to sit on the other side of the classroom just because I'm so scared of that woman. That's crazy, bro.
That's interesting. I had a similar, not with the girl, but the situation about the Bible is that I used to have fear of telling people what is right and wrong, right? I used to have a fear of telling people about God or letting them know that they're wrong in what they're doing. And that fear in my mind, so it was two voices. The voice was like, listen, they're doing wrong. You can go tell them and help them, right? But then that same voice also was giving me fear, saying that this and this was going to happen. And they were both setups because the fear was making me think that I was going to be rejected. But what was happening is that I shouldn't be speaking it, preaching the Bible to anybody anyway, without their permission, right? Without them asking. And that was the way he was setting me up, is that I didn't want to go out there and tell people that they need to not do this and go out there and correct people or tell them about the Bible. It felt off to me, but I felt like I wasn't being a good Christian. But fear was telling me that, no, you better do it, because if you don't, you're not a good Christian. I was feeling that fear, and that fear was making me think that it was God, like telling me, don't be a beta. You know what I mean? Don't be weak. Don't be weak. Go do it anyway. And then it ended up always never working out.
And you have, when you do it, you have to kind of coach yourself into it. Think about it these people are going to go to hell. These people are going to go to hell if I don't do this. You
right?
Gotta, hype yourself up. It's crazy. It's insane, bro.
That's so.
I just got one.
Yeah, go ahead, man.
Sorry.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I just got one. I guess final question. I want to let the other callers, but so that's interesting that you said, because I had the same experience when I was preaching the gospel. I was scared to do it.
Yeah.
But how do you? Because I feel like if I'm not judging and correcting someone, like as soon as they do something bad, like there was atheists in my school, I would have to tell them what they're doing. Even if I was scared, I'd be like, you're sinning. But when I don't do that, I feel like I'm supporting them. I feel like I'm allowing it to happen.
Yeah.
Because I'm not actively against it and angry at it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
How do you? I know that that's not true, but that's what it really feels like in the moment. I don't know how to overcome that.
Well, the thing is that the problem that most people have is that people care, but they really don't care. But it's a false sense of care that's happening. Is that you're now you're judging, right? You're judging the situation and saying that's wrong. I need to interject, and that care is just judgment, right? Now you think that you're identifying with right and wrong. You're thinking that they're wrong, I'm right, I need to do something about it. And now you're trying to control the situation. That's not of God. That's evil. For one, it's none of your business, right? If they want to do that, that's up to them. God will create an opportunity for you to share something with somebody, and it will be natural. It'll happen natural. Or they'll just flat out ask you for advice, right? Then those opportunities will come. But other than that, we shouldn't even care about what's going on in the world. That's the setup, is when people start caring about what's going on.
Joe, doesn't it feel like, though, when you do that, and you're kind of just sitting imagine like everyone around you doing drugs, and they're cussing, and they're saying, oh my God, right. Oh my God, right? They're blaspheming God. And you're just sitting there quietly. Doesn't it just like feel like you're weak and that you can't defend Christians, can't defend God, and like, you know what I mean?
100%. And then you start, because then the thoughts get louder. Then you're like, look at you. You're just sitting amongst them, and you're not saying nothing. And why are you even here?
You're just as bad as they are.
Yeah, and that's the thing, because you're already you're already believing into the thoughts that you're better than they are, right? That you have a message that they don't, or they're just not there yet, or whatever. And now once you believe into that, now you want to correct somebody, and all it does is come off as judgment. Now you're judging them. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So just wrapping up, like, practically, and I know you're not supposed to live by rules, I agree, but just like, a little tip for in the moment, what do I do when I do see people doing wrong things around me? And I really feel that urge to need to like correct them. Like, what do I do? Just like watch it. Like, what else?
Yeah, just watch it. Don't do anything, right? Recognize that if you're caring about it, then you're judging it, right? You shouldn't care about it. It shouldn't affect you, right? Just watch it and let it go. It's not your business, and you don't really know what's really going on, right? The whole story, you only know what you see seems wrong, right? Seems bad, but you don't know the full story. So just sit there and watch it, and eventually you'll have no desire to try to correct anybody, because nobody should have one desire ever, and I'm learning this too in my own life, no desire ever to want to correct anybody. You shouldn't want to go correct and want to save people. It happens naturally when there's no desire there. So just watch it is the point. That was a long answer, but just watch it. Don't do anything.
That's good. I do feel like my life would be more peaceful if I stopped trying to intervene in people's lives.
Well, why do you feel like you want to say anything?
Like I said, it makes me feel weak. It makes me feel like, I'm like supporting this. I'm a beta male just sitting here letting them walk all up. I'm supposed to be a strong Christian and like Jesse said, fight for what's right, stand up for what's right. Like I'm supposed to stand up and yell at these people. Is
there like an enjoyment of doing that though? Like a little thrill of like,
it makes me feel like a alpha, like I'm the man, I'm the boss. I just told these people what I'm going to heaven.
Yeah. All ego, all ego. And you may have had the right intentions, but it came out the wrong way. So you just watch it, man. And you just, because sometimes it gets like so heavy and you're just sitting there like in pain, or you're feeling that either excitement, the thrill to do it, or that fear not to do it, whatever it is for you. And you just sit there and just let it be and just shut your mouth.
and it's ruined my friendships. I can't even be friends with people who do not call themselves Christians. It's crazy. They don't like
Man.
my brain's automatically like you're an enemy to me because you say you're not a Christian.
Where do you think you got that from, though? Where do you think that came from?
Basically, when I was in Bible thumper mode a few years ago, and I just drilled Bible verses into my head to go, protect myself at school when the fear would come. I would just bring up Bible verses in my head to get rid of it, right? So I just drilled that verse of don't make friends with non-believers. And I used to be an atheist, so I'm judging my past self like through these people.
That's such a good point. And that's funny because there was a point where I was doing that same thing too, just reading the Bible every day and now using these rules against people. But I had a lot more friends at that time before then, right? Before I started getting into these rules. And all it was just rules, fake rules that I was following. They weren't of my heart, right? These are just things that I knew in my mind. But I realized too, one more point I want to make is that, JLP, Jesse Lee Peterson, he talks about dropping morals and values, right? And letting go of all these ideas. And that's so perfectly said because all those things are just rules when they're in the mind, right? You follow these things because you learned them, right? You were taught these things, not because you actually see.
Safer. It's also safer than trusting God in the present moment, or it's easier to do that because you know what to do.
Exactly.
Right? Before it even happens.
That's the perfect way to put it. Yeah, you don't have to trust because they help you have a plan of what to do next, so life is easier for you. 100%. But that's why you drop all those things because every moment needs a different thing to do. That's why we are to be guided in the moment. And as soon as we stop having a plan or preconceived ways we're going to handle the situation is when we can notice in the moment and recognize more and more the spirit within that's guiding us.
Dude, I know you're right, but it's just so hard. My whole life, it's just been as soon as something happens, I'm thinking 17 steps ahead, bro.
Yeah. Well, that's it. That's one thing that has helped me is just being aware of everything. Even when you make a quote unquote wrong decision, even when you do something that you didn't think was the right thing, whatever, you just observe it and you observe yourself. And then you realize, oh, okay, well, that's why you shouldn't do it. That's why I shouldn't do this. And it's not like a bad step or a mistake. It's just a lesson. You learn something new. But if you keep your eyes on yourself and you just be aware, you'll start to recognize the decisions that you make that are the right decisions, that it's your gut instinct that's guiding you. And you start to hear from that louder and louder and louder until you start able to avoid a lot of things because you're recognizing the spirit within.
Bro, even in this conversation, I'm not even like kind of listening to you. I'm just thinking about what I'm going to respond like next. It's crazy.
Well, maybe
I do that with everyone.
Well, if whatever I'm saying is true, maybe it seeds are planted and you'll be able to pick it up later. But it's all good.
I'm getting some of it, but it's like I'm half in, half out.
Well, it's all good, man. I appreciate the call. Any last things? I do have a couple minutes here. I can spend with you if you have any last things. But
yeah, it's one. Is there a way to become like a disciple of Jesse besides just working for him?
I don't think that.
Like, I want to be like around him, like how Jesus had his disciples.
I don't think that you should.
I'm almost 18.
Oh, you're not even 18. Oh, so how old are you?
I'm 17. In 20 days, I'm 18.
Wow, I'm thinking that you're grown. You sound grown and you sound mature for sure. I didn't think you're under 18. Well, if you're already trying to work on yourself and you're under 18, you're already on the right track. You have nothing really to worry about. It's just be aware and watch yourself as you're experiencing life. You're young, man. You're going to go through things and you're going to try things. But as far as the Jesse thing, I wouldn't even think about that. I wouldn't even think about trying to be Jesse's disciple or anything. You be a disciple of God, right? You can go directly to God if you look within. Don't think about following anybody, right? Follow God, and that's your best.
I know. I
best
just meant like, because when I call into your show or Jesse's show, I do get some insights afterwards that I smoke on for a few weeks.
Yeah.
So I was just around him more. I'd have more of those insights. Not like following him, but just being around wisdom.
I mean, it's nice to be around people you can fellowship with and stuff, but that's not necessarily true what you're saying, that just because you're around them, you're going to get this better experience. No, Because the point is that you just want to be looking within. And whether you're here or you're watching online or you're just experiencing life, all those are pointing you back to the spirit within. So I wouldn't even try to make that happen or be looking towards that, because that's not what's important. But yeah, man, you're gonna be all right. Clearly, you're thinking all these things at 17, so you'll be all right, man. Call me again, JD. And it was nice talking to you.
One more thing.
Yeah, really quick.
That Hannah chick. Yeah, that Hannah chick. I feel like she like ran away on purpose from her family, because she was talking about some redwood spiritual experience. I think she left with a guy she met on Tinder, and that guy was like a spiritual guru. And now they moved to Mexico to go be in the desert or something.
Hey, you could be making some solid points here. Makes sense. I don't know what the full story is. Maybe we'll know soon. But I wouldn't. Hey, that doesn't sound too off to me.
In the text, she wasn't like in danger, like you were saying, right? So it's like she wanted to do this.
You could be right about that, Jaden. I'm gonna give you guys some more information once I get it. But I appreciate it, man. Thanks for the call, and call me again.
Thanks, Joel.
All right. Have a good one. Nice. He sound grown. What the? Man, I'm thinking I'm talking to this like guy in his late 20s or something, because he's talking about he like read the Bible and he was Bible thumping. He has this pressure to speak the word and all that stuff. And I was not thinking about nothing. Me doing the right thing and all that stuff when I was 17. What the? So he's going to be all right. Amazing stuff. Y'all, I got to end. But that was fun. Shout out to the calls. Shout out to the chat. I'll be in the chat looking a little bit. Shout out to all the chats across the board. I appreciate it. Serge says voice is deep. I know. I was like, what the? He's 17. I don't even know if my voice was deep at 17 yet. Is that even the age to hit the change? 17, he's an adult. Yeah, that's cool. Harassing that poor girl with religion. No, I'm telling you guys, listen, if it has fear attached to it, and know for yourself, right? Don't just listen to me. What the? Know for yourself. But if there's fear attached to it, God don't be giving, because I was talking to somebody about this, is that's torment. Fear is torment. So why would God torment you to get you to see something, right? Or to get you to do something? Why would he torment you and say you better do this or else? Why would you? Because then now you're only doing it because you're afraid of the consequences, not because you genuinely see to do it. That's not of God. God is not into torment. God's into clarity. He lets you see, and you're like, oh, okay. It just makes sense, right? You just see what to do. And sometimes you may not get nothing. No fear, no nothing. Or you're just so confused because you just think too hard on it. You know, when you think too hard, then you go numb. I know. I'm just talking about for a friend and not me. No, I've definitely done that plenty of times. You think so hard that you go numb and you just don't know what to do, right? For one, if you have to make a decision in that moment to do something, it's not that big of a deal. Do it and then learn from the decision. Was that right? That's wrong. And just learn, right? Just figure it out and you learn what to do next. And all of it, right decision, wrong decision, quote unquote, right and wrong decision, right? It's just decisions. But whatever it is, it's all leading you back to the same place. If you're being aware, right? If you're working on yourself and you want to know the truth, it's all going to lead you back to the same place. So Just live life. Just live life. Zenny hates when I say this, but be free, live life, but be aware, right? So that way you're learning throughout the experience. Right on. I appreciate it. I got to end. Amazing stuff. What's today? Wednesday. I'll be back here tomorrow. Tomorrow is my Friday because I do not have a show on Friday. It's just Joel Thursday. Joel Monday through Thursday. So tomorrow is like my Friday. It's my last day of the week. So we'll see what we get into. I don't even know. Only the Lord know. But I appreciate you guys tuning in. American Anchor Baby is coming in at 4 p.m. Make sure you guys check out his show coming up at 4 p.m. As you guys know the deal. Joel Friday TV across the board, y'all. Subscribe, like, and share. Share. Tell your people about the show so we can get the message out. Subscribers up, you know the message. I appreciate it. Until next time, y'all, I'll be back here if the creek is cool with it. And see you on the flip. Bye.